What is up, guys? It's Cal, and in this video I'm going to be doing another pet tier list. I know I did one in my last video, but this one's going to be a little bit different. So the pet tier list I did in my last video was like a general pet, what pets are good, what pets are bad, and just a more general sense. Because there's actually a lot of factors that go into what makes a good pet, and a lot of factors that goes into what makes a bad pet. Now, there's one thing I have to say, which I have to say anytime I make a pet video, is that all pets do the same DPS. There's no pets that really do more DPS than others. There's 3 pet families in the game that have a special ability that has to do with DPS, but the DPS from those pets is typically pretty minuscule compared to that. It's a little minuscule, a little too minuscule for it to matter on whether or not you should pick that pet for these cases. But this video is going to be centered around Mythic Plus. What pets to pick in Mythic Plus, what pets to use in Mythic Plus. So I know all the pet family abilities because I don't have a life, and I have them set up in 4 categories right now: very good, good, alright, and don't use. I don't know if I'm going to use all 4 of these. I don't know if I'm going to have to add a 5th one. We will figure that out as we go. But typically in Mythic Plus, I like to use tenacity pets because of the survivability. Because pets don't, as I said before, pets don't give you more DPS. So I'd like to go with the survivability thing in those cases. Unless if your pet or if your group does not have a heroism or bloodlust, then pick a ferocity pet. That is very important. I'll say that at the end of the video after I'm done with the tier list to remind everyone. But I'm going to go through here now because there are some pets that I'm going to go ahead and drag into the don't use category. And I don't need to really, ramble on about each one. But I will come back here in a minute and talk about why all of these pets are in the don't use category. I'm probably going to leave exotic pets here for a bit because I might need to think a little bit harder on them, but yeah, I will be right back. And there we go. So a number of pets I just dragged into the don't use category. Now you might notice something that all these pets have in common. They're all cunning. Cunning pets you typically don't need in Mythic Pluses. Now, a few factors that go into what makes a good Mythic Plus pet. First off, the individual pet family abilities are not going to have a big impact on how well you do in Mythic Plus. These are the pets that have a defensive ability. I'm just going to go through all the abilities now. There are pets that have a defense ability, which decreases the damage they take by 50%. There are pets that increase their dodge by 30%. There are pets that give you a mortal wounds. Those are very good in PvP, not so much needed in Mythic Plus. There are pets that do a self-pet dispel that dispels its disease, magics, and poisons. That only dispels it from the pet, not you. That's definitely not needed in Mythic Plus. There are pets that slow the target. Now, out of all these abilities, actually, let me talk about the last one. The last pet family ability is a triggered defense ability, which means when they drop below, I believe it's below 40% health, the damage they take is reduced by 60%. Those are all of the just standard pet family abilities. Out of all those, the most useful that would be in Mythic Pluses is the slow one. Reduces the movement speed of the target by 50%. Now, there's a lot of pets that offer that, not just cunning. There's tons of ferocity pets and tons of tenacity pets that offer that as well. So all of the cunning pets I still dragged in here. Like I said, the exotic pets, I might have a little more thinking to do on them because they have an extra ability, an exotic ability. And there are 59 pet families, in case you were unaware, and I, got rid of about a third of them, a fourth of them, however many this is. So when picking a good Mythic Plus pet, to me, the more important thing is actually the family ability: cunning, ferocity, or tenacity. And I mentioned my thoughts on those at the beginning of the video. Is I like tenacity pets for Mythic Plus because of endurance training, gives you more stamina, and survival of the fittest, which is the extra defensive cooldown. Let's go through these pets right now and let's talk about which ones to use in Mythic Pluses and whatnot. So first off with cats, I'm gonna put cats at the alright tier because their special abilities aren't that great. They have their special ability. Their cats are actually one of the 3 pets in the game that have an extra ability. It's that Blizzard just decided to give these pets an extra ability for literally no reason. They just did. Those are cats, feathermanes, and spirit beasts. Cats' special abilities increase their dodge by 30% and increase and they have prowl, which prowl is kind of annoying to use, to be honest, because it slows your pet, but might be useful in Mythic Pluses sometimes, because if you didn't know this, when you camouflage, if your pet also uses prowl, it makes it even more difficult to detect. So there's that. Make sure you're not targeting an enemy when you use prowl on your pet, because your pet will actually start walking very slowly towards that enemy and attack it. That's if you're targeting an enemy and then you click the prowl ability. Yeah, your cat will do that, and it's very annoying. So yeah, cats are not really pets I would really use in Mythic Pluses. Corsairs. So Corsair's special ability is the same thing as cats. I'm actually going to put them in the don't use category because it's a 30% dodge, but they don't have prowl. There are some cool looking Corsairs though. Beetles. Tenacity. Tenacity pets are either going to go into the good or very good category depending on what their special ability is really. So beetles give a defense thing. They go into the good category. Which means that they can put a damage reduction on themselves, a 50% damage reduction. Scale hides. So scale hides are the same deal, except they're ferocity. So they go there. Ferocity pets aren't bad. Don't make this look out to be that ferocity pets are bad in Mythic Pluses. I just think that there's a lot more that endurance pets or tenacity pets, I was thinking of endurance string, tenacity pets have to offer in Mythic Pluses. Now carapads are pretty good, I guess. They're going to go into the good category just because they're tenacity really. Both of their special abilities, because they're exotic, both of their special abilities reduce their damage taken. So carapads are very, very good tanking pets. Not so much Mythic Plus. Carrion birds give you a mortal wounds. Mortal wounds pets I see very little use in Mythic Pluses. Now don't get me wrong, I assure you there are mobs in Mythic Pluses that heal themselves, like have some sort of uninterruptible heal, or it's difficult to stun them so then they can't get their heal off, which is where a mortal wounds pet would come into play. Those are very few and far in between. So they're going to go into the don't use category. Chimeras are definitely up there. So chimeras give a slow, which makes me put them higher up because out of all the pet special abilities, slow is the more useful one, as I've mentioned. They are ferocity, but their exotic ability is a DPS oriented one. It's called Frost Storm Breath, or it's called Frost Breath. Or no, it's called Frost Storm Breath, I'm pretty sure, yeah. Which, what it does is it's a frontal AoE cone of damage that hurts enemies. Now, the damage it does is very little. I remember, I haven't practiced this ability since Shadowlands has been out, but prior to Shadowlands, it did, after a 5-minute fight, it did like 1.2 or 1.3% of my damage. It was very small. I would not make that a deciding factor on whether or not to use a Chimera in a Mythic Plus, but they're going into the good category because of their slow, at least. And yeah, Cleft Hoofs. Cleft Hoofs are, they're alright pets. They're very good pets for tanking, if you want to, tank anything. So I'm going to put them at alright. Corehounds. Corehounds are also very good at tanking as well. Their special ability, Cleft Hoofs, by the way, special abilities, both of their abilities reduce the damage that they take. Similar to Carapads, but the reason Carapads are right there is because they're tenacity. Corehound's special ability reduces the damage they take. And their exotic ability is one that has to do with DPS as well. They're one of 3 pets that have a special ability that has to do with DPS. And it's like when they take damage, they reflect a very small percentage of the damage back on the attacker. So, but that's direct damage, I believe. It's not cleave damage, because your pet in Mythic Pluses can take a lot of cleave damage. It most likely will take a lot of cleave damage, but it should not really take a lot of direct damage. There are certain cases where that would come into play, you know, have your pet tank the boss for a second or something, but they're going to be in the alright category because of that. Crabs do a slow. Tenacity pet with a slow goes into the good category. There are at least 1 or 2 pets I have in mind that will be in the very good category, so bear with me until we get there. Cranes have the self pet dispel. I'm gonna put them in the alright category. Yeah, cranes are going in the alright category because I don't think the self pet dispel is useful at all in Mythic Pluses. It's really not. Crocolisks. So Crocolisks have a slow as well. They are ferocity, and it's alright. That is an alright ability. Or, well, let's go ahead and put Crocolisks here. Although, and yeah, for a second I was thinking, why would I put, like, Crocolisks would be better than cats. Why would they be in the same tier? But the only reason cats are really on the alright tier is because of Prowl. Even though Prowl isn't annoying to use. Akiri, so here's a cunning pet. Cunning pet's not a huge fan of in Mythic Pluses. Also, a big reason for that I didn't mention earlier is, so Mythic Pluses, or cunning, gives you the increased movement speed, which you're not going to need a whole lot in Mythic Pluses. Obviously in Mythic Pluses you want to move fast, but I think the Predator's Thirst and the Endurance Training are much more beneficial than Pathfinding. Master's Call, you should have Post Haste already. Or you might have Binding Shot, actually, if you're not Marksman. Like, if you're Beastmastery Hunter, Binding Shot, which you have to spec into as Beast Mastery, might be more beneficial than Post Haste, but I think most hunters carry around the Post Haste talent. And if you have Post Haste, then there's not a huge reason to use a Cunning Pet. That's in Mythic Pluses. And PvP, it's a whole different story. You definitely want a Cunning Pet PvP. But in Mythic Pluses, it's a little different. Akiri, now let's talk about Akiri's pet family abilities. So Akiri's give a movement slow, which is good. So because of that, well, let's take a look at what their other ability is. Akiri's other ability just increases their movement speed by 30, which could get your Akiri to the enemy faster, which is kind of a DPS boost in a sense. Akiris are going to go into the alright tier. Yep, I said it. I put a Cunning Pet in the alright tier. That works for me. Devilsaurs. So Devilsaurs look very cool. I'll give them that. I used to use them all the time until I found a lot more beneficial pets for the circumstances I used Devilsaurs in. Their ferocity, which is alright, and their special abilities. So Devilsaurs have Immortal Wounds. Not useful in Mythic Pluses. I've already mentioned that. Their exotic ability is a Cannibalize, which is extremely useless. I have never effectively used their it's called Feast. I've never effectively used it in combat. I've only used it like a few times outside of combat just to see what it looks like. Devilsaur, sorry, I gotta go in the don't use category. Yeah, I just have to. Although there's a lot of cool looking Devilsaurs. But yeah, as far as effectiveness, don't really need them in M+. Direhorns. So Direhorns require a Tome of Dinomancy, in case you were unaware. Tome of Dinomancy to tame, which you get from the Zandalari Trolls on the Isle of Giants in Pandaria. They have a chance to drop it. Now Direhorns' special ability is Immortal Wounds. Don't think I need to go more in depth into that. Direhorns are going to the alright category just because they're tenacity. Dragonhawks. So Dragonhawks are tenacity and their ability is dodge. Dodge is useless in Mythic Pluses. They're tenacity, so they're going into the alright category. Feathermanes. I like Feathermanes. So Feathermanes are tenacity. Now, one of their special abilities is useless. It's the dodge. increases their dodge by 30%. But Feathermans give you a slow fall. Slow fall is cool. Slow fall in some cases in Mythic Pluses is useful. I have to put Feathermans at good. I have to put them on the good tier. Gorillas. So gorillas are not that great. I almost want to put them in the don't use category. So Gorilla's special ability is the trigger defense. So when they drop below 40% health, they take 60% less damage, which, I mean, it's more useful than a Mortal Wounds or the Pet Self-Dispel, to be honest. It's also more useful than the dodge. I think that the two defense abilities that pets can give are more useful than the others, besides the slow. But I had to put the gorillas in the don't use. They're just, you just don't need them, man. Hydras, tenacity already kind of gives them a leg up. They got immortal wounds. You already know where they go. Lizards are the same, have the same abilities as hydras. They go right there. Mammoths are tenacity. Now, mammoths give a slow, which their tenacity pet that has a slow. Their taming of them was introduced in Shadowlands, so there's that. They have to go into the good category for that. Oxens, I believe, are good tanking pets. Their tenacity, they have to go into the alright category because their tenacity. They're good tanking pets. So Pterodactyls. So Pterodactyls have the trigger defense ability. They're cunning. Pterodactyls are weird, and I'm not 100% sure on this right now. Someone needs to confirm it with me. Pterodactyls at one point gave a slow fall, and I don't know if they give slow fall right now. I think like Shadowlands removed their slow fall for whatever strange reason, because as of right now, I think Pterodactyls have no exotic ability, but I could be wrong on that. And if that's the case, it's a cunning pet with a trigger defense and no exotic ability. They have to go and don't use. If they have a slow fall, I would want to put them in the alright category. So keep that in mind. If Blizzard decides to give them their slow fall back, they're alright in my books. Ravagers. So Ravagers are ferocity pet with immortal wounds. Yep. Rays. Rays have the pet self-dispel and the ferocity. Don't use. Bats are the exact same thing as rays. River beasts. So river beasts are tenacity, and they got immortal wounds, which means alright. Scorpids. So scorpids are ferocity with immortal wounds. So they get the same fate as the other ferocity pets that have immortal wounds. Shale beasts. So shale beasts are cunning. They're exotic. Shale beasts special ability is a defensive. It's it reduces the damage they take by 50% for 12 seconds. Their extra ability reduces the magic damage that they take, which, to be honest, is and it's a passive. It's not something you activate. Because of that, I want to put them at all right. Yeah, shale beasts are all right in my books because they just passively take less magic damage. It's not something you have to activate, and it's like I don't know the exact percentage, but it's like a small percentage of their total health. Okay, so spiders. Spiders are next. Spiders are ferocity, and spiders' special ability is a slow. So I'm trying to think. Chimeras got to the good category because of the slow and the frontal cone. Spiders have to go into this category. Alright. The alright category. Okay, Spirit Beasts. Yeah. Spirit Beasts are at S tier. They are very good to use in Mythic Pluses. So, Spirit Beasts are the only pets in the game that have 3 special abilities. Spirit Beasts are. The reason for that is, as I mentioned before, Blizzard decided to give 3 pets in the game an extra ability for literally no reason. Those are cats, feathermans, and spirit beasts. Cats and spirit beasts are non-exotic, meaning that they would have 2 special abilities. Spirit beasts are exotic, meaning that they have 3 special abilities. Now, spirit beasts were nerfed into the ground in Shadowlands. Don't get me wrong, they were heavily nerfed. But with that, I still got to put them at S tier because of the heal that they give. So what are Spirit Beast's special abilities? First off, Spirit Walk, which is an upgraded version of Prowl. Prowl is annoying to use because it makes your pet go slower. In Mythic Pluses, it can be useful because it makes it harder for your pet to be detected. And yeah, hunters already have that bad stigma about them with pulling too many mobs and all that sort of stuff, so we don't need to add to it. Spirit Walk, the first attack that your pet does out of Prowl does like 50% extra damage. Or something like that. Or is it 20%? I don't know. But it does extra damage. Spirit Beast's other special ability is the Pet Self-Dispel, which is useless in Mythic Pluses. It's pretty useless. Spirit Beasts used to have the Trank Shot before they gave all hunters Trank Shot. I'm not going to whine about that because at the end of the day, all hunters now have Trank Shot. It's a buff to hunters that we all have Trank Shot. But that did make Spirit Beast's usefulness go down slightly. But Spirit Beasts do have a heal. And the heal got hit with a mega nerf bat in Shadowlands. So the heal, I will admit, used to be overpowered. It would heal you for 50% of your health. Or at least it would heal me for 50% of my health. And it was on a 30-second cooldown. That's really good for hunters. Now it heals me for about 15% of my health. And it's still on a 30-second cooldown. I hope that at some point they at least find a happy medium, happy middle there. Or just buff it back up to the 50%. I had to put Spirit Beasts very good though, because of all that. Because of everything I just said. Stags. Stags are also Spirit Beasts are tenacity. Plus right there. Stags. So stags are tenacity. Yeah, stags are tenacity. Now stags have the Pet Self-Dispel. We already know where that goes. A lot of the pets here, you might see in contrast with my last video on the pet tier list, I'm not really taking their looks into account because I think people care about usefulness. Like, I'll be honest here, there's a lot of cool looking mechanical pets out there. There's a lot of cool looking devil swords, but usefulness in Mythic Pluses, don't use them. You can. It's not a big deal, to be honest. I'm going to be honest here. It's not a big deal if you decide to use a Grufflehorn in a Mythic Plus. Bears. So bears are tenacity, which is good. Bear's special ability is the trigger defense. So they go there. Stonehounds. So Stonehounds are good. I like Stonehounds. I almost want to put them at very good. So Stonehounds are exotic. They're tenacity, so that's a +1 for them. They're exotic, that's a +2 for them. Stonehounds normal special ability, so not their exotic ability, is a trigger defense, which I don't care much about. When their health falls below 40% health, they take 60% reduced damage, which is like, it's like, okay, whatever in Mythic Plus. But their exotic ability is an instant battle res, or not a battle res. Stonehounds used to give a battle res, not anymore. It's an instant pet res on an 8-minute cooldown, which can be very useful in Mythic Pluses to not reduce your DPS from using Revive Pet. Stonehounds have to go in the good category because of, it's called Eternal Guardian, because of their exotic ability. Tall Striders. So Tall Striders are ferocity, and they have a slow, which means that they're alright. Toads are tenacity, and Toad's special ability is a dodge, which I don't care much about. They go in the alright category just because they're tenacity. Turtles are tenacity. Turtle's special ability is a defense, like it reduces the damage you take by 50%. They go right there. Wasps. So Wasps, ferocity. Wasp's special ability is Immortal Wounds. Don't really need them in Mythic Pluses. Water Striders. So Water Striders are cunning and they're exotic. Now Water Striders' special ability is the Pet Self-Dispel thing, which I don't care much about. But their exotic ability is a Water Walking, which I'm gonna put them at alright just because of that. I know they're cunning, and I know they have the Pet Self-Dispel, but I'm gonna put them at alright just because Water Walking, hey, might be useful in Mythic Pluses, so you never know. Wind Serpents. So Wind Serpents are ferocity. Their special ability is a dodge. don't care. Wolves, ferocity, and they give a slow special ability of a slow, so they go into the all right category. Now worms. You know what? I'm gonna talk about blood beasts before I talk about worms. Blood beasts are tenacity. Blood beasts are pets I really like because they look cool. The taming of them was introduced with Battle for Azeroth, the old year raid. You can tame blood beasts by killing Zol, which is the third to last boss on any difficulty besides LFR. So kill them in normal, heroic, or mythic, and you get a tome of blood beast taming, or whatever it's called. Now, blood beast special ability is a slow, which is good. So yeah, that's why I put crabs in the good category. That's why I put mammoths in the good category. I'm gonna put blood beasts in the good category. Okay, worms. You know, as I was talking about blood beasts, I was thinking about where worms would go. And you might be thinking, they're a tenacity pet, that's exotic, they have to go in the very good category. Wrong, you couldn't be more wrong. In fact, I was about to put them in the don't use category. But worms are tenacity pets with a slow special ability. So there is that, which gives them a leg up. Now here's the thing about worms. Their special ability has to do with damage. They're one of the 3 pets in the game that have special abilities that have to do with damage. The other 2 are corehounds and chimeras. Corehounds and chimeras. Now the thing about worm special ability, it's called burrow, I believe. What they do is they burrow into the ground. It's on a 14-second cooldown. They do nature damage in an area. They can't do anything else while they're burrowed in the ground. So, with that being said, first off, Beast Cleave does much more damage than Burrow. It just does. And also, whenever you cast Barb Shot, you know, if you're going to use a worm, you have to Beast Mastery anyway. If you're going to cast Barb Shot while they're burrowed, they cannot get Frenzy stacks, which is a big yikes. That's a big oof if I ever heard one. Not getting Frenzy stacks in Beast Mastery is like having an ice cream cone but with no ice cream. Like, it tastes good, but where's the ice cream? What I'm trying to say is don't use worms, but they're going into the alright category because they have a slow. Just don't use burrow until it gets fixed, because you want to be able to get those frenzy stacks. Anyways, guys, that's my tier list for pets that are good Mythic Pluses. Now, something I've mentioned like twice in this video that I have to reiterate now again: if your group does not have a Heroism or Bloodlust, pick a Chimera. They're the only ferocity pet I put on the good category. Or if you're survival, pick up Scalehide or a Wolf or a Tall Strider. Other than that, if your group does have a Bloodlust or Heroism, go for a Spirit Beast or any pet that's really tenacity. This is also something that's very important. How do I word this so I don't sound like an idiot? The gap of usefulness between all of these pets and Mythic Pluses is very slim. It's much different in PvP, where like you want a cunning pet, to be honest. But you can use a cunning pet in Mythic Pluses. You're not gonna die, I promise you. Life will go on. The world will keep spinning. Just keep in mind that Master's Call and Pathfinding might be somewhat useful to you. I mean, it's only 8% movement speed, but I just think that endurance training, and especially Survival of the Fittest, becomes much more useful in Mythic Pluses. You get that extra defensive cooldown, plus you get extra stamina. And ferocity pets, Predator's Thirst is nice as well, because you get that extra leech. So you have like a very small constant stream of healing yourself. But anyways, guys, that's the entire video. Hopefully it was helpful to all of you. I'll probably do a PvP version of this. In fact, this video is about to be a PvP version. You can actually, well, you can't see from here, but the title of this tier list is, yeah, Best PvP Hunter Pets Tier List Maker. Yeah, I changed that through production because there's a lot more that goes into what makes a good PvP pet. Because arenas are different than battlegrounds, are different than world PvP. As far as Mythic Pluses, it's all pretty standardized. And yeah, so there's that. If this video has helped a lot to you guys, feel free to leave a like on it. You can sub to the channel for more videos like this. And I will see you guys in the next video. Goodbye.